Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are again working on this Jeep Comanche with the LS swap. So if you guys have been following along with the build, we've got John over here, but before we get into it, people are asking in the comments, what are you doing here?
So I moved out here just to pretty much work on this Jeep and I don't know, see how it goes.
That's it?
I don't know, what else you have? That's it.
All right, so he's out here. Obviously he's helping me with the Jeep, or he's gonna try to make it out here as well. Also, we are going to start stepping up the merch. That's another big reason why he's out here. So we're gonna start opening up, we're gonna launch shopboosted.com. We already have it registered, we just have to build out the website. We're gonna try and do that stuff, and then if all goes well, he's gonna be managing a lot of that stuff, all the merch stuff, and we can hopefully get to, you know, a place in the near future where we could give away something like this or some sort of build. So that's the idea. We're gonna get it going. A lot of other big YouTubers are doing it, so I think it only makes sense that we get on board with it. So that's the big goal, but right now the goal is he's a Jeep guy and we're working on a Jeep. We need to get this thing running in, what, 26 days now?
Yeah. I'm a Jeep guy, but he's the motor swap guy, so this is all new to me. But this is a really cool build.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys have seen some of our other projects where we do like really high-end stuff. You can't see it under the cover, but usually I'm like kind of a perfectionist. So this is a totally different style of build for me, where we are just trying to get this thing together in the shortest amount, a month pretty much, and trying to get it running so we can drive it. So we're not really like doing it super fancy, but we're still at least making it structurally sound. But normally I would go in here, you guys know, I would see like a little dot of anything and I would go in here and clean it and paint it. I have to refrain from doing that on this one.
It's a Jeep, it'll be fine.
So, and he said this is his dream build. I didn't know that before this, so I don't know. We'll see.
All you have to do is just knock on Jeep.
Oh my God. Knock on crack hawk.
Yeah.
So anyways, last video, we got the floors in here. So the floors are all welded in. We got primer, seam sealer. We're all good there. There is some brackets that were welded here for the newer style dash, and what we're gonna do is go over there to our parts Jeep and we're gonna rip out the dash so that we can make sure that those brackets are in place. Also, John's over here working on the shifter cable, so there might be a lot of this stuff in that pile of stuff in the back, but rather than try to find it, we know and we can see it right here. So we need a few things off of this: the shifter with the cable, so there is a shifter in here, and then we're also going to take out this dash, probably some other stuff we can use as well. We got the parking brake right there, and there's some grommets that are missing on our steering column that are in here, so we're going to get all those, get all the grommets, all that stuff, and compare the bracketry that holds the newer style dash to what we have over there, so that we can get it going. Another thing, I don't know that we'll get to it in this episode because we're trying to do like a daily update, but you can see the fuse boxes here and our wiring. All of our wiring has been removed and relocated. So somebody tried to do a wire tuck on it, and I don't know what the state of that all is in. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get working and see how far we get. All right, boys, so we stripped this thing pretty good. So we got the wire harness out of here. Brake assembly is pretty much ready to go. We just have to disconnect the brake lines. And we took the dash out, took the HVAC box out, and kind of got this down to the same status as the other one. Also, steering column is out. Shifter is out. So what we did was we laid out both harnesses. Here is the original harness from that. This is the harness that came out of there. So this one, it has the fuse box somehow relocated inside the vehicle, and then just all sorts of relocated wires here, there, and everywhere. So I'm not too sure what's been rewired, where it's been rewired to, what's been extended, what's been cut, where, like everything's just all over the place. So rather than trying to figure this out, we might later, but we're just gonna use the stock harness because obviously we are definitely pressed for time. If we put this in, we just know it's gonna work exactly the way it's intended. So probably gonna do that. We still have the body harness in here, so probably first thing in the morning until we're getting a late start today. but we'll take out this body harness, and then we're gonna have to just shorten it a little bit. So I think this is gonna be easier since it's all factory. We kind of know what to expect from that. And then what we're doing right now is we are going to put bedliner inside here. So we've got the primer, we've got it seam sealed, but just to make it look a little nicer for now, we got bedliner.
Got the big old can.
So John's used that one before. He said it works decent. So we're gonna go ahead and bedline in here and see how she comes out. That is chunky.
This is what you wanted, right?
Heck yeah. That's pretty dang good. Woo! Check it out, boys. So it's drying. We somehow blew right through that whole can. I don't know if we expected that, but that huge tall can, and we didn't even fully finish. So it's almost out, but we're gonna let this dry first, and then we'll hit it with another coat. But I think that'll look way better. What we're gonna do now is, it's dark out, but we're gonna just kind of dust this over with some paint. But in order to do that, it's got a ton of just dirt and grime. So we're gonna push it out. We're gonna spray some degreaser on it and just kind of rinse it out. That way in the morning, first thing in the morning, we can dust this all with some fresh black paint so it looks half decent. So we're gonna push it out, give it a little degrease, and then in the morning we'll be able to paint it. Okay, so we pushed it out, and you guys didn't miss anything, but I just degreased it, rinsed it down very carefully since their whole firewall is open. But there you go, some late night fun. Washed, and in the morning it'll be dry and we can paint this area here. We'll try to do our best over here. I don't know how much we're gonna be able to get to everywhere, but we'll at least try to paint the two wheel well areas, and maybe we'll see how much we can dust up there. We'll find out what happens. All right, next day we're gonna go ahead and get some fresh paint on this engine bay. John's still sleeping.
I'm asleep.
So we got this painted. So looks way better. It's not no super fancy job. We didn't really do any prep. Again, we're under a deadline, but at least it's all one color, and any of the surfaces that were metal exposed, they're now at least coated and somewhat protected. Also did the inside, got a little carried away, so decided to do the whole floor. Looks pretty good. I got the fan on here trying to expedite the drying process. So I think it looks pretty good, but we'll let that all dry, and while that dries, we're gonna pull out the body harness out of this Jeep as well. All right, so we pushed the Jeep back in. Dennis stopped by for a little bit, and we were just fitting the harness. So this is the one from the XJ. We're just laying it out, seeing how it fits. And so far, it's mostly ready to go. So fuse box is over here. We're kind of discussing, for the sake of just speed, we're gonna just mount it somewhere over here. We are gonna have a big turbo right here, so the original location here might be okay, but if I can, I'm gonna try to swing it over there. But we're just laying this harness in here, and we'll see how far we get right now. All right, so Dennis is repairing some wiring. We got all hands on deck. I'm in here installing the brace for the steering column. This whole deal here. I'm putting some rib certs in here in the side where it connects there, because those mounting points aren't on this vehicle. And then John is over there going through all the spare parts in here, deciding what's good, what's junk, and what he wants to sell. And yeah, we're all doing something right now, so we're gonna keep cracking at it, and I'll show you guys when we get an update. Okay guys, so finalize that. Got our rib certs in here that hold that brace there for our steering column. And then I was just investigating some of this stuff. So there is, you'll see here, I got this piece of metal. I thought I was done cutting and welding for now, but turns out that is not the case. So I got this scrap metal here because this hole was cut, but I don't know if the previous, like the Comanche hole for the steering column was lower. But if you look on the other side, I kind of got like this snowman looking figure over here. And yeah, so I have to make a plate. I'm gonna fill that bottom circle so that we only have this top circle, because that's the one we actually need. So, and then yeah, we'll button some of this stuff up. So we're on to cutting and welding, and then yeah, fix that up there. And then hopefully we're done most of the fab work, but I'm sure there's gonna be some little things here and there. Okay, so here's the result, you guys. So welded that plate in there, and then I just carved out the circle there, and there was a couple additional holes that I'm not sure whether they were factory or somebody made them, but I just went ahead and plugged those up at the same time. So Gonna test fit stuff, and then we'll paint this over, and then we can continue with getting everything back in here in the dash in here. Okay, so our rubber grommet fits. That's all good. I'm gonna take this out, and like I said, we'll paint it, and then we can reinstall this whole thing. All right, so that's painted, and while that dries, what I did was I threw the HVAC box back in here just quickly, and then I also, you'll see, I put in our shifter, and I put on our four-wheel drive kind of ports block-off plate. One of the reasons is, even though this does have a four-wheel drive system and transfer case in it, it's actually electronically controlled, so we'll have to figure that out later, but definitely doesn't have like an actual mechanism here. And what I am also trying to figure out is, it looks like this vehicle was a manual at some point, or that's what it originally was, because this is, or maybe it was even a column shift. This is the cable that connects to here. And I'm trying to decide where I want to route this. The one on the XJ, you see this grommet right here? It came out right through there. So it came out through the hole right below that grommet. So you'll see it right there. So that hole is where it exited, and then it looped around. As you can see, it's kind of naturally taking that position. So it essentially went like this. So it was like that, looping back around to the transmission. So I'm thinking that's probably a similar route we'll want to take. And if I try to go too far over here, we might start losing too much distance from our cable. So I'm thinking popping a hole right there might be the best approach, but let me map it out a little bit, decide what I'm gonna do, and show you guys with the result. All right, so our shifter cable's in. It kind of has to be spun a little bit, but because it's not completely rotated in the way that it was in its original relaxed position. But anyway, she's in, she's good. And let's go ahead and throw the heater box or the HVAC box back in there, and we are getting one step closer. Kind of made a little bit of a mess, so I'm gonna vacuum this up. We can get our support back in here, probably put our pedal box in, maybe our brake booster, our steering column. We are just knocking out one by one on all these tasks. Okay, you guys, so huge progress. So shifter is in, block off plates in, HVAC box is in, shifter cable is in, the brace for our steering column is in, it's installed, and we have some of our wiring coming through the firewall. We've got our steering column, that's all together. We've got our pedal box, so our brake is here, our gas pedal is installed, and I'll show you guys under the hood. It's kind of a disaster over here. We're just in pure work mode. So under here, still kind of a disaster, not gonna lie, but we laid the wiring harness here. We ended up painting the bracket for the fuse box, so we're gonna put it here for now. I might swing it into this corner later, but for now I'm just gonna use the factory fuse box bracket. And then we went ahead and got a battery. I went and got like a Honda that you would typically see this battery in a Honda. It has enough cold cranking amps to get the job done in this, but it's never even cold here, so this will be more than sufficient. But we're gonna relocate the battery from the passenger side to the driver's side. Reason being, our turbo is gonna be sitting right here. So we're gonna have a huge single turbo hanging out in this region, and the original battery was here. So it made sense to put it on this side, and that's why I went with the smaller battery to give us a bit more room. Pretty much ready for the brake booster. I just left it out for now, just so that if we want to run anything, we've got some room to do that. But lots of progress. I want to get this video out for you guys. It's getting a little bit late in the day, and we still have a lot to go. But I think overall, we are making some serious progress. Oh, one thing, John's inside doing some other stuff right now, but he found a pretty good find. I don't know why we didn't really look at it, but we were discussing the axle. This axle is pretty tiny, and even visually, if you guys look at it, it's got like pencils for axles. And then we were looking at this Jeep, our parts Jeep, and it actually has a Chrysler 8 1/4, so you can see the axle is much more beefy underneath there. You can't really see it too much, but huge score there. So this will be able to actually hold the power, and we can build that axle to be plenty strong, whereas the one in here is kind of so we are going to be swapping out the axle. We'll get that in there, and yeah, just keep plugging away. So again, I'm going to keep telling you guys, if you guys want to see this stuff, we're going to be at LS Fest this year in Bowling Green, Kentucky, beginning of September, and then we're also going to be at Mo Party the following weekend. as well. So if you guys want to see any of this stuff, or if you want to buy our SST, we are selling the Dodge Ram 1500 SST with a Hemi swap. So go check us out over there. John's back. We're wrapping up the video because we got to get back to work. So wait till you see all the stuff that you missed.
Yes, I'm working on some shirt designs too, so you guys are missing out.
Heck yeah. So we're going to be at Mode Party at LS Fest with a bunch of shirts, with a booth, with a tent. So lots to look forward to.
Yes, sir.
But we got to get back to work. So we're going to wrap it up here, and we'll see you guys on the next video.